interesting what comes of this story. But I know you guys have been waiting to talk about it. At least when I woke up this morning, I said, okay, so what's the recap for the iPhone X, better known as the iPhone 10? Roman numeral X is 10. You get, so yesterday we kept saying the X. Well, it is officially, if you go to the website, X, yeah, it's for 10, because Apple is celebrating 10 years since the iPhone dropped. Can you guys believe that? It's been 10 years since the first iPhone came out.
Did you have the first iPhone?
I had a Sidekick, and I don't think I got the first iPhone.
I did have the first iPhone. Did you?
No, I didn't get an iPhone until the BlackBerry went out of style, because for a while I loved that BlackBerry with the keypad. And when I first got the iPhone, I hated it.
Does the BlackBerry still have a keypad?
Girl, I think they are just gone completely. Are they toast? Because
let us know if you have a BlackBerry. Who is it that still has? I know the Kardashians for a long time. I don't know if it was a sponsorship, but they still had a BlackBerry. Oh, it was at my last station. The weather guy still had a BlackBerry, and he swore by it because he just said he liked that you could actually touch the letters and numbers, the keypad. Okay, so what you're looking at, the iPhone X. So in Cupertino yesterday was the big Apple event trending all over social media. It was a huge deal. They announced 3 new iPhones in addition to the Apple Park and all the other things that we'll get to another time. But let's talk about the devices. The Apple 8, the Apple 8 Plus, and then the Apple iPhone X, better known as the iPhone 10.
Right.
Okay, going for $999.
Let's
call it what it is.
Yeah,
it's $1,000. Would you throw down $1,000? Because here are some of the features, and these are just some of the features. Face identification. So they're getting rid of that home button. You know this thing right here that we click anytime we want to go home? It's sort of our safe button. Like, okay, let me get out of all these apps. Let me click home. I'm back to square one. It's sort of, for me, I like actually physically pressing a button. But now they're getting rid of this button altogether if you're getting the iPhone X or 10, and it's going to be face recognition. So you stare at it, look at it, they recognize the face because the camera is enhancing, like majorly enhancing.
A lot.
I hear a 3D phone or 3D camera.
Yeah,
it's an
virtual
option.
technology, I think, or virtual reality.
There's going to be animated emojis. So if you go like this, and I think you can like choose a cat, the cat will start going like this, and I don't know if you can send it. It's this whole new world.
To be clear though, Android lovers will say,
and we had this discussion this morning.
Welcome to the party, Apple. We've been having this for a while. But for the iPhone users, they're going, hey, this is great.
Yeah,
so,
and I hear there is nothing that Apple is doing with this new rendition that, like you said, the Android hasn't done. I was like, oh, they had face recognition? Like, oh, okay, why are we so amped up about Apple? And you may be one on the other side saying, no, I've been an Android user for a long time. But it's the marketing, it's the chicness, it's the fact that, I mean, look at this huge Apple event.
Right.
It's like this whole cultural thing. Some people are even saying the fact that you're not calling your stores anymore. At one point they said, oh my gosh, forget the word that they're calling it. Not a marketplace. Not a marketplace. It's some, oh gosh, let me find the name for you. But the fact that they're not calling them stores anymore because they say it's more of a meetup place. Like, this sounds a little cultish.
No, Apple is very cultish, and it always has been. Even when the iPhone first came out and the iPod. Remember, if you had the Nano, you were like popping. If you didn't have the Nano, people thought you were trash. So it's always been the case. But again, and I think the conversation is one, the iPhone 8 seems to be the exact same as the iPhone 7.
Yeah.
So nobody is, you notice no one's talking about the iPhone 8.
8 or 8 Plus,
the 8 or 8 Plus.
It's this
Why
X.
did they even come out with all these at once?
Because you need that new, but then they skipped
Because
9.
people like me will not be buying an iPhone with face recognition. Like, I'm not going to buy a gadget, especially $1,000 up front. Now, if all phones have face recognition and I had no option, then I have no choice. But since I do have the choice, I don't feel comfortable with having face recognition to get me into a phone the same way I didn't feel comfortable with the thumbprint or the fingerprint to get into the iPhone. That's
which is the next
taking it
conversation.
to another level for me. And I don't know. I'm starting to feel uncomfortable with Apple.
Why so?
Getting a little
because
too much?
it's getting a little invasive. Now I feel like we're getting a little invasive once you start asking for fingerprints and face recognitions. I feel like we're in total recall, and I don't want it. I'm sorry.
David Weiss says, can you use a picture of a person to access phone via facial recognition? I think they have done something with the 3D-ness. I don't think you can just look at it. I think they might have you tilt a little to prove that it's not a two-dimensional photograph. But that's a good question. And to your point, if it's a face that gets you in, what does that mean as far as the breaching is concerned? But I will say the one announcement that is phone related that I thought was a good move for Apple for sure was the iWatch 3 not needing an iPhone, because I have an iWatch.
Okay.
And the only way that my iWatch will connect to the internet and do the things that Apple Watches are supposed to, the exciting things, like it'll tell you the time, but any watch will tell you the time. The exciting things where it'll read you your messages, you get your phone calls, you've got to have it connected to the phone.
And the phone needs to be,
and it needs to be
at least what?
It has to be able to be upgraded enough, I think, is like the 5C maybe, or even higher.
But it has to be near you is the point, right?
Yeah, it has to be near you. You have to have Bluetooth turned on, which kind of kills your battery once the phone dies.
Okay.
Everything connected doesn't work except the time. So I think that they did make a good move with that. I think they're realizing they are trying to be a cult and that every product needs to revolve around us. And I think this was the one move they made that said, hey, if you are an Android phone lover, you might still like our watch, and that will still be
at
compatible.
least get you in. And then once you're in with the watch, then you start to go, ooh, I can hook up anything I do on the watch with my MacBook. Oh, and the MacBook can, with iCloud, can connect to my iPhone. Oh, and then you have the wireless earbuds, which came out with that last phone that I didn't get. I like my connection. Yeah. And the fact that that's gone.
I didn't get the 7 either because of that little thingy doodad.
And then people go around with these what look like hearing aids.
I'm 9,000 years old with the Apple complaining, but sometimes you got to focus on simple stuff. I just need Apple to be able to keep YouTube open when I close out and go to another app. I just need you to keep the video playing in the background when I go to another app. Like if you can't keep the YouTube video playing, why do I need face recognition? We need the simple stuff first.
Right, it's true.
Well, what do you mean? Like if you go like this, and so I have this open, but I double click here, I can still see all the other apps that I have open. You mean?
So let's say you had YouTube open and you were jamming out to the new Taylor Swift album, Dina. Yeah. And you were listening to Taylor Swift. If you try to go to another app while your YouTube video is playing, it stops the YouTube video. As where if you're on Pandora and you're listening to music and you go to another app, it keeps playing. Spotify, it keeps playing.
So that's as a music lover.
It keeps playing. Apple Music, it keeps playing. YouTube does not keep playing.
Okay, I found the name.
Fix that.
Fix that, and then we can talk about the facial recognition, huh? It's the new ID.
And sings that song.
Taylor Swift. I found the new name of the stores. They're not calling their storefronts are not called stores, not the Apple Store. Town squares.
Oh, wow. Town squares.
Town squares, yes.
No, a real town square is like a square in the middle of a town with a bunch of different shops.
I think that's what they're going to do, make shops within shops. You can get your Apple cases here, and then the techs are there, the I support.
And then have a little wine meetup collab.
And then you're probably going to have manicures and pedicures and an Apple wardrobe at some point, and then you want a new face for the facial recognition. I
will say, though, the style of the Apple town squares or stores is kind of becoming the style of a lot of other companies now, and I do believe that
the workspace.
Like the actual stores where it's kind of limited. There's just long tables with the options. It's all kind of simple black and white. I think that's kind of become the standard when you walk into like an area that has a lot of Microsoft laptops and computers, or if you're walking even into like a cell phone carrier store.
It's a little less intimidating these days, A, because we're used to it, and B, you're right, it's becoming regular now. So what are they going to do to stay cutting edge when really cutting edge would be more of the Android, right?
Yeah.
Because if they've been doing
then they
these
started
things,
blowing up on planes, and people were like, never mind Android for a while.
True, but what do they need to do marketing-wise? If they have all these things, it's sort of, I put the blame on them for not stepping up and becoming cultish, because you can't sit here and say, oh, they're getting culty and hate on Apple because of all of these features. It's like, well, they just have really good marketing.
And there's more packaging, because with Android, yes, there's different types of Android. You can have the Note, you can have the Galaxy. There's different ones. As we're with the iPhone, it's specific to iPhone. There's specific computers to match the iPhone, the MacBook. You have the iPad. So it's very specific. Then you have Apple Music. Then you have Apple Movies within that. You have Apple TV.
So it's like the Amazon.
Yeah, it's like the Amazon. So it's easy to get sucked in because they have so many different tiers and levels that link you back to that one product. As with Android, that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah.
So it's easy to get caught up. But again, I'm just gonna need y'all to keep YouTube open.
Yeah.
You
Let's
wanna
see,
keep-
Sophia Juarez says, I have a mortgage, #priorities.
Yeah.
Not paying the $1,000
I hear you,
bucks.
It's a lot of
sister.
money though.
It's a lot of money. Good morning, Kimberly, to you. Dave Weiss, can you use a picture of a person to access phone via facial recognition? Not sure. That's a lot of money. Carlos says, yuck, I love the Android platform. Douglas Sterling says, had iPhone 6, could not get rid of it fast enough. Some people out there are just not into it.
Some people want us to move on, and I kind of feel like we should because I want to get in time for these
For these hotties?
hotties.
Okay, yeah, Erica Ramirez. I'm sorry, these ladies just sit there and talk, no facts, all these things. Oh, Erica, you don't like us.
So I'm telling you, we should try to squeeze in this last story.
Okay, let's